What would happen if an industry used to selling RVs for $150,000, $200,000, or even $300,000 suddenly got challenged by a country that was almost never seen as a motorhome powerhouse? For decades, the RV has been a very American symbol. It is tied to cross-country road trips, mornings waking up beside a lake, and retired couples driving through Arizona, Utah, or Montana to enjoy freedom. But behind that beautiful image is a truth many RV owners understand all too well. Prices are too high, quality is inconsistent, technology changes too slowly, and repair costs sometimes make buyers feel like they just bought a money pit on wheels. Then China stepped into the game, not with a luxury model just to show off, and not only with a low price. They brought a completely different way of thinking, using electric vehicle technology, large batteries, hybrid drivetrains, solar power, smart home systems, and large-scale manufacturing supply chains to create a new generation of motorhomes. These RVs are not just cheaper. They also seem more modern, smarter, and far more practical than many American RVs that cost twice as much. So why are American RV manufacturers starting to worry? Why can a market as young as China create so much pressure? And is this a real revolution in the motorhome industry? Or just another wave of social media hype? Before we get deep into the story, if you enjoy analysis videos like this, do not forget to subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. The American RV industry has gone unchallenged for too long. To understand why Chinese motorhomes are getting attention, we first have to look at the American RV industry. This is an old industry, with a wide dealership network and a loyal customer base. But that long history also creates problems. For years, many RV models have been built using the same basic formula. Buy a chassis from Ford, Mercedes, Ram, or other commercial vehicle brands, then install a living space on top of it, with kitchen cabinets, a bed, a bathroom, electrical and plumbing systems, and a few comfort features. That formula used to work, but as prices kept rising, buyers started asking questions. Why does a motorhome that costs as much as a small house still leak water? Why do cabinet doors come loose after just a few trips? Why is the electrical system so complicated? The air conditioning so weak? The insulation so poor? And the interior components so unimpressive compared with the money people are paying? While the auto industry has changed dramatically with electric vehicles, lithium batteries, software, smart cameras, touchscreens, and energy management, many RV models have moved very slowly. They may get a few modern options added, but at the core, they're still commercial vehicles with a small house attached to the back. And that is exactly the gap China has noticed. But to understand why this matters so much, we need to look at the core of the entire story. China is not building RVs the old way. Just a few years ago, China's motorhome market was almost insignificant compared with America's. RV culture was not strong. RV parks were not developed like they are in the West. And most Chinese consumers were still unfamiliar with the idea of a mobile home, but because they did not have a heavy tradition holding them back, Chinese manufacturers had one advantage: they were not trapped in the old way of doing things. Instead of seeing an RV as a small house placed on wheels, they see it as a smart vehicle with a living space. That difference is extremely important. If you start with the mindset of a smart vehicle, then batteries, software, hybrid drivetrains, solar power, and energy management become the center of the product. But if you start with the mindset of a traditional mobile home, those technologies become add-on accessories. That is why models like the Wanuka T5, DM Pro Max, Great Wall Power RV, Dongfeng MS600, and DTL Beluga Whale have caught the attention of the Western RV community. They are not shocking only because of their prices. They make people ask, why are American RVs so expensive yet missing so much technology? The Wanuka T5 DM Pro Max is the clearest example. This model is often mentioned with a battery pack of around 55 kilowatt hours, a diesel-electric hybrid drivetrain, integrated solar panels, smart air conditioning, automatic energy management, and a modern interior. For RV buyers in America, features like these usually appear only on very expensive models or have to be added later at a high cost. but in China, they're being built in as a natural part of the design. The Great Wall Power RV takes a more practical direction. It is based on a pickup platform, has 4x4 capability, suits people who enjoy off-road travel, and includes an expandable living space, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a bed. For Americans who love overlanding, getting a similar vehicle often means buying the base vehicle first, then spending a huge amount of money on upgrades. But Chinese manufacturers are trying to put that entire package into a complete product with a more accessible price. The Dongfeng MS600 also shows this direction clearly. Instead of simply converting a commercial van, it is introduced as a true expedition vehicle with a powerful engine, four-wheel drive, a winch, a solid suspension system, and the ability to travel far in tough conditions. This is a segment many American customers love, but it usually comes with an extremely high price. It sounds simple, but this small detail could change the entire game. The real advantage is in batteries and supply chains. The biggest threat from Chinese RVs does not come from one specific model. It comes from the way they are produced. The American RV industry often depends on many different suppliers. The chassis comes from one company, the battery from another, electrical equipment from somewhere else, and air conditioning, refrigerators, interiors, and components from many other suppliers. Every layer adds cost and profit margin. By the time the vehicle reaches the buyer, the final price has been pushed very high. China has a different advantage. It has already built a massive electric vehicle industry. Companies like BYD have batteries, electric motors, energy management systems, software, controllers, and mass production experience. When those capabilities are brought into motorhomes, the RV is no longer just a house on wheels. It becomes a mobile energy platform. Imagine a motorhome with a battery large enough to run the air conditioner, refrigerator, electric stove, lights, water heater, and entertainment devices without needing a loud generator. On the roof, there are solar panels. Inside, there's an automatic power management system that tells users how many hours of energy remain, which devices are using the most power, and when the vehicle needs to recharge. The user does not need to understand complicated technical details. They control everything through a screen or an app, just like a miniature smart home. This is what the traditional RV industry should have done a long time ago. But many American brands still follow the old model, adding technology as a premium option instead of redesigning the entire system from the ground up. China is different. It puts batteries, software, and energy at the center of the product. But no matter how good a technology is, it means nothing if it cannot be produced at scale. China's scale makes everything more serious. What worries Western competitors is that China is not just capable of creating a few attention-grabbing models, it has the ability to mass produce at very high speed. The world already saw this in the electric vehicle industry. At first, Chinese electric cars were seen as cheap and lacking brand power, but within just a few years, China became one of the largest electric vehicle centers in the world. If the same thing happens with motorhomes, the American RV industry will face serious pressure. China's domestic market is changing. The middle class is becoming more interested in self-driving travel, weekend camping, remote work, and short vacations. They do not necessarily want giant American-style RVs. They want vehicles that are smaller, smarter, more affordable, and better suited to young families. That is why lower-priced RV models matter. A very basic low-cost motorhome may not attract premium buyers in America, but it shows that China wants to make RVs more accessible. In America, an RV is often a major dream after years of work. In China, it could become a vehicle for weekend trips. As the domestic market grows, Chinese brands can test faster, fix problems faster, reduce costs faster, and upgrade technology through each generation. That is a speed the traditional American RV industry will struggle to match if it keeps the old model. However, the story's not all bright. A motorhome is a large, expensive, and complicated product. If an RV breaks down in the Nevada desert or on a mountain road in Colorado, that is not a small problem. Buyers need to trust that the vehicle is durable, safe, and supported by clear repair service. Chinese RVs that want to enter America will have to overcome many barriers: safety standards, emissions rules, battery certification, electrical systems, warranty coverage, spare parts, dealerships, and politics. The selling price in China also cannot simply be copied into the American market because taxes, shipping, certification, and distribution costs still have to be added. There's also the issue of trust. For many American customers over 45, Chinese products still make them cautious. They may buy a Chinese electronic device, but spending tens of thousands of dollars on a Chinese motorhome is a much bigger decision. To win, Chinese manufacturers will have to prove real quality, not just show beautiful videos online. America has experience. China has speed. To make a fair comparison, the American RV industry still has major advantages. America has the strongest RV culture in the world. Americans understand long-distance driving, camping, the needs of retirees, RV parks, and how a family actually lives inside a vehicle for weeks at a time. American brands have real experience in space layout, plumbing systems, vibration resistance, heat protection, cold weather performance, and customer service. But their weakness is innovation speed. Many RV brands are not battery companies, not software companies, and not electric vehicle manufacturers. They depend on platforms from Ford, Mercedes, or Ram. When those platforms do not change fast enough, RVs also move slowly. China is the opposite. It lacks RV heritage, but it has the electric vehicle industry, battery supply chains, large-scale manufacturing, and a fast experimentation mindset. It does not need to protect the past, so it can jump straight into the future. Europe could become the first battlefield. Europeans like compact camper vans that are efficient and suitable for narrow roads. If Chinese brands bring reasonably priced electric or hybrid campers into Europe, they could put pressure on expensive models like the VW California. Once they build trust in Europe and Asia, North America could be the next step. For American brands, talking about tradition and craftsmanship may not be enough. Buyers may still love familiar names, but they also know how to compare. When they see an RV with a larger battery, a smarter electrical system, better off-grid capability, and a lower price, they will start asking, why does my vehicle not have these things?